A doctor looks down at a small boy. He studies the legs. One bent inward, one bent outward, one of them shorter than the other. He shakes his head. This child, he says, will never walk like other children. That boy was born in a Brazilian village so poor it barely had a name. He could not read. He could not write. And by every medical opinion of his time, his body was broken before his life had even started. Now watch those same crooked legs again. Watch them leave the greatest defenders on earth grasping at empty air. Watch them carry an entire nation to the top of the world. This is the story of the man they called the angel with bent legs. The story of how the thing that was supposed to ruin him became the source of his genius. This is the story of Garrincha. His real name was Manuel Francisco dos Santos. He was born in 1933 in Pau Grande, a textile factory town in the hills outside Rio de Janeiro. His family had almost nothing. His father drank. School was a luxury he never really received. And then there were the legs. A childhood illness had twisted them. The right leg curved one way, the left curved the other, and one was a full 6 centimeters shorter than its partner. His spine was crooked too. When he walked, his whole body seemed to lean against an invisible wind. His sister gave him a nickname for a small, scruffy bird that hopped around the local fields. Garrincha, the little bird. In Brazil, it was a name half affectionate, half mocking. A name you gave to someone the world did not expect much from. But here is the strange thing. On the dusty pitches of Pau Grande, those broken legs did something nobody could explain. A defender would lunge one way, certain of where the boy was going, and the boy would already be gone the other way. His body simply did not move the way a body was supposed to move. And Garrincha noticed something about himself that would define his entire life. He did not really care about winning. He cared about the moment, the trick, the joy of leaving a grown man on the floor. Football to him was never a war, it was play. For years, the big clubs would not look at him. A boy with bent legs, no schooling, and no interest in discipline did not fit the idea of a professional. But in 1953, a club in Rio finally gave him a trial. His name was about to change Brazilian football forever. They just didn't know it yet. The story goes that at that trial, they put him up against one of the most respected defenders in the country, a man who had played for the national team. Garrincha did not just beat him, he humiliated him. He danced past him again and again, and at one point, having already gone by, he turned back to do it a second time, for no reason except that it felt good. The club signed him on the spot. For the first time in his life, the little bird was paid to play. He had food, he had lodging, and he had a stage. At Botafogo, he became a phenomenon. Crowds did not come to watch his team win, they came to watch him dribble. He would beat a defender, wait for him to get back up, and beat him again, grinning the whole time, as if the whole stadium were in on a private joke. In 1958, Brazil went to the World Cup in Sweden, and Garrincha went with them. That tournament gave the world a 17-year-old genius named Pelé, and a star was born under bright lights. But it was Garrincha on the right wing who tormented defenders all the way to the final. Brazil destroyed the hosts 5-2 and lifted the trophy for the very first time. The little bird from Pau Grande was a world champion, and yet, even as a champion, he lived in another man's shadow. The world spoke of Pelé, the cameras followed Pelé. Garrincha was the wizard on the wing, admired, adored, but always somehow the second name on the list. He didn't seem to mind. Fame meant little to him. He went back to Pau Grande between tournaments to drink with old friends, as if he had never left. But fate was about to hand him a stage all his own. 1962. The World Cup moved to Chile, and Brazil arrived as favorites once more. All eyes again were on Pelé. The world expected him to light up the tournament just as he had 4 years before. Then, in only the second match, disaster. Pelé pulled up clutching his thigh, a serious muscle injury. And in that era, there were no substitutes. He limped to the wing, useless, and Brazil finished the game with 10 fit men. The champions were in crisis. Their golden boy, the heart of the team, was finished for the tournament. Across Brazil, people began to fear the worst. Who could possibly carry them now? One man stepped quietly out of the shadow he had lived in his whole career, the man with the bent legs. After a lifetime as the second name, Garrincha was about to become the first. In the quarterfinal, Brazil met England. Garrincha was unplayable. He scored twice, once with a header, the smallest man on the pitch rising above everyone, and once with a swerving shot that bent through the air like it was alive. In the semifinal against the hosts, Chile, in front of a crowd desperate to see him fail, he did it again. 2 more goals. He dragged Brazil into the final almost single-handedly, those crooked legs carrying the hopes of an entire nation. By now, the world had stopped talking about the injured king. They were talking about the little bird. Defenders tried everything. They doubled up on him, they kicked him, they fouled him, and still he danced away, smiling. In the final, Brazil beat Czechoslovakia 3-1. They were champions of the world again, and this time, there was no question who had taken them there. Garrincha won the Golden Ball as the best player of the tournament and shared the Golden Boot as its top scorer. The boy doctors said would never walk properly stood for one shining moment as the finest footballer alive. Back home, they gave him a new name, Alegria do Povo, the joy of the people. To ordinary Brazilians, he meant more than trophies. He was one of them, poor, overlooked, imperfect, and yet capable of magic that made the powerful look foolish. He fell in love with one of Brazil's most famous singers, Elza Soares. For a while, they were the most talked about couple in the country, two icons who had both climbed out of poverty into the bright lights. He never played for money or glory. He played right to the end for the same reason he had as a barefoot boy in Pau Gran, for the pure, childish joy of beating a man with the ball at his feet. But the legs that made him a genius were also running out of time. Those famous knees, bent and twisted from birth, had spent a career being wrenched in directions knees were never meant to go. The cartilage shredded. The magic that had thrilled millions had quietly been destroying his own body all along. By the 1966 World Cup, the little bird could barely fly. Brazil were knocked out early, a shadow of the champions they had been. And as Garrincha faded, the crowds who had worshipped him began to look away. Off the pitch, his life was unraveling. The drinking that had always been part of him deepened into something darker. There were scandals. There were tragedies on the road. The joy of the people was slowly becoming a sorrow he carried alone. In 1983, Garrincha died from the effects of alcoholism. He was just 49 years old, and by the end, he had been largely forgotten by the game he had once enchanted. But Brazil remembered. They carried him through the streets of the Maracanã one last time, and on his grave they wrote the words, "Here rests the joy of the people." Garrincha never cared about winning, and maybe that is exactly why he is remembered not as the greatest winner, but as the purest joy football has ever known. The boy whose broken legs the world wanted to fix became the reason millions fell in love with the game. The angel with bent legs,